Easy does it. I'll take a peek. I'll take a peek.
The idea of the scene came out of necessity. Initially, this was all supposed to happen somewhere inside the ruin. However, it clashed with our non-linear philosophies. In order to have the information communicated to the player about Theos and the Soul Machine, it needed to be staged just right and go off without a hitch. By placing it in the ruin itself, it meant some of the non-linearity would need to be sacrificed in order to create a hard gate for the player. So we as designers could make sure we knew the exact moment this event would be triggered. At Obsidian, we often have quests and scenarios that branch in a myriad of ways. Each of these branches are conditioned by what we call gates. These gates keep the game responding to the player by closing off paths and opening new ones based off actions they perform. A piece of dialogue, for instance, might be gated by a certain amount of disposition. This helps reinforce the suspension of disbelief for the player because to them, the world is responding according to their actions in a real way. A hard gate, however, implies a more rigid gate, one that is meant to funnel the player to a singular point by making sure the gate is only open by a singular action. In this instance, a hard gate was needed so we could know the exact position of the player as well as make sure they were not in combat or doing some other action simultaneously. This is often achieved by level transitions. Since we know the player cannot travel while in combat, we don't need to worry about that. In one scene results in the visuals of the whole level being curtailed for this one pivotal moment.
They'll never know I'm here. They'll never know I'm here. Easy does it. They'll never know I'm here. Easy does it.
The Valewood is the first wilderness the player is introduced to in the game. Like any Infinity Engine wilderness, these areas are rife with dangers, treasures tucked away in nooks and crannies, as well as your fair share of characters with tasks or quests of their own. A lot of what we wanted to do with this wilderness was lead the player towards the Gilded Vale, using the characters they meet along the way. By giving the player the option to get involved with either the bandit camp or Naunton down near the south end of the map, it gives the player the impetus to explore the Gilded Vale once they arrive, now that they have acquired a few tasks to investigate. We also wanted to, again, reinforce the non-linearity of the game by putting those encounters off the beaten path, more or less. That way, if the player wanted to beeline straight for the Gilded Vale and happened to miss these NPCs, they could get leads about them in town and come back to the wilderness later.
I'll teach you a lesson! I'll teach you a lesson! They'll never know I'm here. Easy does it. I'll take a peek. I'll take a peek. Hey there. Sure. Sure. They'll never know I'm here. I'll teach you a lesson!
Sure.
Welcome.
Hail, traveler.
about we take a break? I'll take a peek. Easy does it. Yeah? Sure.
Show him how it's done!
Sure. Hey there. Sure.
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here. You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here. You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever sired a Hollowborn child? And an important one nevertheless. Lord Raderick has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst. His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radrick's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn just southwest of here. Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak. Consider yourself fortunate. After she failed Lord Radrick, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all. But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit. My advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that. Keep out of...
Listen!
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy.
It seems your arrival is ill-timed. 3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
It's usually best to leave the beginning of the game for last. So this area was designed in the advanced stages of development. The idea here was to convey a rundown, bleak farmer's town that suffers from the iron rule of a local warlord. Redrick is the name, whose hall lies nearby, and it's also its own adventure area. Here in Gilded Vale, it was important to give a glimpse of how bad things really were in this world right away. So I made sure to design the layout in such a way that the tree with the hanging bodies became one of the first things to appear in view when you first arrived to town. Another important buildings to introduce you included an inn, because you need an inn somewhere at the start of an RPG, that's just expected. Places to shop and tinker, like the blacksmith and the mill, and also places that would illuminate background history, like the ruins of the Elthasian temple, which figures in the general narrative that we constructed in the area's quests and characters.
Were you looking for someone in that tree? I could introduce you. They'll never know I'm here. Easy does it.
Easy does it. They'll never know I'm here. Easy does it. I'll take a peek. I'll take a peek. I'll take a peek.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
Fie, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
That's where you're wrong.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation. Courtesy is a rare pleasure in these parts, though your accent suggests that you are no more local than I. Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvusser, at your service. Well, I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I am grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here? In Gwithan Ruins? Oh, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. And half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious. What exactly did you find there? And you survived? I've heard such a thing was impossible. But it seems you either have a knack for timing or the favor of the gods. An excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale. Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. He has rid himself of them almost as desperately. I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday. Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places. As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers. Excellent. I shall follow you.
Yeah? Hey there. I'll take a peek.
There's a couple of jokes in here about the inn's previous owner having disappeared, you might note, and that grew out of our never hearing back from the inn backer. It's all meant in good fun, of course. I had a little poster in my office of the old promo art for Baldur's Gate 3, and while we were thinking of names for this place, I started using the Black Hound as a placeholder, thinking that it wouldn't stick. It ended up getting the thumbs up, and Josh Sawyer asked Art to implement the poster image as a stained glass window on the lower floor. The dog upstairs actually came later. Once we started assigning locations to the various pets, the placement for the black dog seemed fairly obvious.
I'll see what I can find.
Gods keep you.
They'll never know I'm here.
I shall be discreet.
There's something you don't see every day.
I shall be discreet.
Nice to see you too.
I shall be discreet.
They'll never know I'm here. I'll take a peek.
I'll see what I can find.
Nice and quiet. Nice and quiet.
I'll take a peek.
I shall be discreet.
I'll see what I can find.
They'll never know I'm here. Easy does it. Consider it done. There. What did I tell you?
Nice and quiet.
I'll take a peek.
Nice and quiet.
I'll take a peek.
I shall be discreet. I shall be discreet. Nice and quiet.
This calls for a subtle touch. There. What did I tell you?
Nice and quiet.
How do you do? Good day, stranger.
Easy does it. Easy does it.
I shall be discreet. I shall be discreet.
I'll see what I can find.
I shall be discreet.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes? Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I. Wherever here may be. The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now. And a watcher you will stay. What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on. Some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well, a wonder! Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties. You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company. Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no? Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think. Me? I'll bore you to tears, though. And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed. Oh, come now, such a question, as though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found? Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord, she is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up. A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other, turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I love the Valian Republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear. Of course, dear. Good.
Nice and quiet.
17 and a half. Well, could be 18, depending on how you count the dwarf woman. The people hanging from the tree. 18 of them. Well, last I counted anyway. Name's Adair. Though to the people around here, might as well be 19. Don't think I'd put you much higher than 22, 23 tops. You look like the sort that likes to get involved. The dwarf woman. You were trying to figure out whether to count her as a full person. I think you oughta. I was smoking over here, saw you staring at her. Twice I refilled my pipe. You never so much as blinked. Your mouth was so slack I took you for a Radric at first. Careful, friend. Best not use that word round here. Could be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be. Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense. The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, He's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war. We blew him up. Picked the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea. Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, then I did too. But, he didn't make it back. After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore, until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me. Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, the townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Raedric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.